Good morning, and thank you again for joining us for another Monday Motivation brought to you by Lifeline Assembly of God in El Paso, Texas. And I am Toliu, and I am bringing a quick word to help your week. A quick word that will help put some pep in your walk with Christ. So let's just get into it. John chapter 7, verse 3 and 4 says, "So his brothers said to him, 'Leave here and go to Judea, that your disciples also may see the works you are doing. For no one works in secret if he seeks to be known openly. If you do these things, show yourself to the world.'" The title of my sharing for today is, "How Will Christ Be Glorified?" So, in the passage that I read, the brothers are pretty much telling Jesus, don't do things in secret. Like, why would you want it to be kept a secret? But show off your miracles. They want him to pretty much, flex his muscle, go out and show the world, this is what I can do. That's what the brothers are telling Christ. But God never intended to do miracles for show. He never intended to do these things just so that people can see how great he is, or for the fame or the fortune. Obviously, God doesn't need any of that. But he does these miracles for those in need. He does the miracles to bring the glory back to Christ. He does the miracles because he can. It's usually part of his will, part of his plan. Jesus's miracles always glorified God, and he did not seek fame. So this speaks to us too, to realize that our goal should never be that of fame. Our goal should not be to seek people's approval. And when others' admiration come into play, we should know that that will never satisfy us. And if it does, that's when we need to check our pride and check our appetite for fame. People need Jesus, not us. They need Jesus. Let me say that again for the person in the back. People need Jesus, not us, but Jesus. Jesus always pointed the glory back to his Father, and we should follow that example. So again, how will Christ be glorified? He will be glorified by, number one, admiring Christ alone. Take ourselves out of the picture. Take other people out of the picture. It should only be Christ in that image. How will Christ be glorified? Number two, don't be concerned about your reputation or my reputation. God's reputation should be the only thing that matters. That will keep us in check. Our reputations, our lives, we should put those things on the line for God's reputation. And again, how will Christ be glorified? Lastly, number three, do God's will. Not for show, not to flex, not to put it out there in the world that, yeah, I can do this. No, do God's will and do it out of mere obedience, and again, to glorify him. One thing that I made a practice of doing when I'm worship leading, I always make it a point to write somewhere, either on my notes or on my phone. I'll always put all about Jesus. And what that does for me as a worship leader, it keeps me in check. That every ad lib, every verse that I may solo, every chorus, every maybe riff or run, the way that I lead worship in those ways too should always be all about Jesus. It should always glorify Christ, and it keeps me in check and helps me to remember that, to hide myself, to make sure that I am obscure and that I reflect Christ. So I hope that sharing was something that you can take with you this week to help you along until we get to our midweek muscle. That will kind of go deeper into what we learned today or discussed today. But as you walk with Christ this week, and like I said, put a little pep in your walk, think about this. How will Christ be glorified when I go to work? How will Christ be glorified as I'm driving to my appointment? How will Christ be glorified when I'm making this meal for my family? It can we can put it into any type of scenario or situation. So, church family, friends, I pray that this word reaches you in your heart and helps you with your walk. And I'm just going to do a quick prayer to end us out. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this word. How will Christ be glorified? Help us to ask ourselves this question this week and any day of our lives, when we make decisions or when we're walking or when we are talking with those who need you. Help us to always question ourselves, how will Christ be glorified? We praise you and we thank you. Bless those who were able to tune in. In your name I pray, amen. Have a great week, everyone. God bless.